This video is gonna offend some people. I already know it. Let's say on your first date, you're a man having a conversation with a woman, and you're explaining to her that because of how many partners she's had in the past, you're not interested in pursuing a relationship with her. Then she points out your sexual past and say, "What, are you kidding me? Look at how many people you've slept with. You probably slept with 40 or 50 people. How can you judge me for my sexual past when you've done just as bad yourself? You're being a hypocrite." At first glance, it sounds a bit convincing, doesn't it? And in a world where men and women were the same, this would be a legitimate argument. But that's not the world we live in. In this video, I'm going to explain why it is not hypocritical to have different sexual standards for men and women, because the genders are not equal. First, let's look at this from a moral standpoint. Can a man criticize a woman for being a slut when he himself is also a slut? The answer is no. If you're a man and you're just having a lot of casual sex with women, then you can't criticize women for having casual sex. That's hypocritical. And the same thing goes for pornography, strip clubs, OnlyFans. If you are a consumer of these products, then you share equal responsibility because it's your demand that created their supply. You can't criticize women for being involved in this type of industry. Just imagine how weird it would be that as a man, let's say you enjoy going to the strip clubs, but then you shame strippers for doing what they do. That's ridiculous. Now let's look at this from a biological perspective. You've probably heard of the key and lock metaphor before. If a key can open any lock, that's a great key. But if a lock can be opened by any key, that's not a good lock. The reason why you've heard this before is because this metaphor makes perfect sense when we talk about sexual standards between men and women. Men and women are not the same when it comes to sex and reproduction. Women produce 1 egg per month, while men produce millions of sperms every single day. If you understand biology, then you have a pretty good idea as to why men and women evolved to have different mating strategies. Just by looking at the sheer number of sperms we produce, as a man, it is clear that one of our reproductive strategies is to play the numbers game. If you want your genes to survive and pass on to the next generation, then you need to be having as much sex as possible, spread your seeds as much as possible, and hope that some of your children will survive. As much as society will try to shame promiscuous men, this will never stick because the culture will never be able to erase what we inherently feel within our biology. A man who sleeps with a lot of women or has the desire to sleep with a lot of women is simply following his biology. So if he has a high body count, that means he is a successful biological organism. However, this only applies if he is sleeping with high quality women. If he's sleeping with a bunch of terrible women, then that's not impressive because why would you want to combine your good genes with her terrible genes? But the ability to sleep with a lot of high quality women indicates success. This is why we will never value male virginity. Never gonna happen. It's because it's not difficult, it's not impressive to be a male virgin. What's difficult is to lose your virginity and have sex with lots of women. That is challenging. This is also why we have the phenomenon of pre-selection, where women would judge a man to be successful based on how many partners he's had in the past, or how much other women want to sleep with him. And this shouldn't be surprising, you see it all the time. A man who has slept with a lot of high quality women is perceived to be very successful. However, this does not apply to women. And when a woman hears this, it feels unfair. And unfortunately, biology doesn't care about your feelings. There are completely different standards when it comes to female virginity. Knowing men is not difficult for any woman to lose her virginity. What's difficult is to preserve her virginity. So a woman who has preserved her virginity into a committed relationship is likely, not always, but likely to be a high quality woman, provided that she's genuinely desirable and her virginity is a choice she's making. So let's go back to the key and lock metaphor. A key is judged to be a great key if it can open any lock. A man is judged to be a successful man if he can sleep with any woman. A lock that can be opened by any key is not a good lock. A woman who just allows any man to have sex with her is not a very impressive woman. You see, men and women are judged on two different standards, and it's always going to be this way because men and women are different. So the next time you're having a conversation with a woman and she tries to shame you when you say that you have a preference for a chase partner, do not buy into it. Even if you've been really promiscuous in the past, that does not mean you can't have a preference for a chase partner. But please understand something. There is a huge difference between having a preference for a chase woman and shaming promiscuous women. When you say that you're not interested in pursuing a relationship with a woman because of her sexual past, you're simply stating a preference. You're not attacking her, you're not blaming her, you're not shaming her. The moment you weaponize your personal preference and use it as a tool to put someone else down, that's when you're in the wrong. So just to quickly summarize, I believe that men and women should be judged on two completely different standards when it comes to their sexual past. Standards that reflect our biology, not whatever is fashionable in our culture right now. That's it for this video. Agree or disagree? Let me know what you think in the comment. Until next time, stay curious.